industry, if you're on camera, you know the importance of finding the light. Outside, it's the sun when I'm doing it. So, similarly, when you're an electrician, and how to like combine the totality, the equivalence, to flesh out, to hash out mechanical from binary. There's a cop walking like with a radio and then a second antenna, and he told me he had a third. I'm like, you're a walking antenna. And he kind of brushed it off. It was huge. Whenever there's a festivity going on, people are more open. And the opposite of festivity is when it's a pandemic. And so people are more prone because they don't want to be as open because something could get taken out of them, like their life. And so just these two things together, you know, I didn't want to go here, but here we are, is that if you, an electrician and an engineer, when you say engineer, this is like the combo of binary and mechanical. And so when there's like a circuit and it's not closed versus a circuit and it's broken, knowing one from the other is huge. If there's a person and they're about to blindside you on the curb because they're not looking on the curb at the crosswalk, they're more interested in the road because they're in a hurry doing a rolling stop, that's scary. Similarly, the opposite, you know, equal and opposite Newtonian is when someone is like on a straightaway, there's no cars anywhere and they're going slow, and they turn their head to smile at you from the curb. And so this is like the switch up of those two. It's a person on the phone. They're saying that, like getting coached up at a private club, that they don't know if they can. The person on the phone are saying, you can't, then you can't. You know, this is what psychologists, if they were good, there wouldn't be any. But when it comes to people figuring something out on their own, they write it down on paper. I should know, I have thousands of them. And so within paper, it's like material, right? A different thing in material is shirts. And so if there's these graphics, and graphics are close to what cyber is, because there's graphic design for cyber, but graphic design and material. In a book, there's an index, and with a pictorial, you can see the titles of each chapters. A graphic depiction of this is what they do in Japan. They have a cutout, a nice little sliver of like a person's profile, and then they have everyone in the band, the profile. I saw this on a shirt. It had all these Pokemon with the slivers, and they do it even with motion capture at like a tour. And so it's a person and all these little slivers of them. That's monolithic, but in graphics, that's huge. Because if you can tell a circuit open or closed or broken with this feature alone, you could be indexing. Secondly, there, shoot. Oh yeah, when I'm vlogging and my arm is out and I'm like talking, I'm trying to remember while I was doing this is what people do. They write down. I think of material and I try and memorize it verbatim, and so I'm good at it, but just not right on the spot. It's really hard when there's people around you, and first you have to establish you're not talking to them, you're talking to yourself as you have your phone out recording yourself. And so I did this at a haircut shop the other day, and it was pretty tough because you could tell it wasn't going well, but actually I got all my footnotes out properly. It's just at any point in time, someone could totally blindside you. You know, I've never been blindsided by an animal, meaning an animal attack. Other than mosquitoes, you know, they bite all the time. I should know, I have a few of them right now. This is my other footnote, was in aquawear. This people at the gym that's so slender when they're wearing clothing that is. And so it's equivalent to being at a pool, it's aquawear. And so funny enough that I actually have a swimsuit that I used as the same because they're actually the same length and, nylon. But that was just a play on because I didn't even intend it to be when it's actually I was making fun of other people who actually they're not wearing swimsuits. It's a play on with aqua outfits, apparel. Funny that it's in the direction, but I met them halfway because I was doing it. Not intentional, not intentional, not intentional, not intentional, not intentional. And for the first time ever, I saw this person in a bikini down here at the dam. Thanks for waiting. Hard corner, right? And so, if you've never seen someone near a dam wearing a bikini, I saw yesterday, right over here was one. It was pretty funny. I was telling her, jump, jump, because she took off the other way, but she was wearing a bikini and it was next to a dam. Someone went over this dam in a barrel. Side note, shout out to moms who go on barrels over dams, like the Niagara Falls. Now, when you're walking backwards, it's dangerous. In the Nutcracker, this guy in the cartoon version turned into a wooden nutcracker by walking backwards and getting bitten on a rat. They had a whole ritual of people lined up trying to crack a nut, and this is one way, aside from a graphics index, to represent something if you just have a whole bunch of stuff putting it over. The people in line, a king and queen wanting a nut to be cracked. One guy does it and a rat bites him as he's cracking a nut with his teeth, turns into a nutcracker. Stuff like this when it's being put over, you can remember. It's just I've never walked backwards to a dam close and then mounting a bridge. So we're going places. We're going places.